Welcome to Meaningful Mornings. Samudravasane Devi Parvatastanna Mandale Vishnu Patni Namastubhyam Padasparsham Chamasvame. How many of you remembered this before you set your foot on the ground? On Deepavali, which was Monday, October 24th, we begin acting on what we were thinking in terms of offering our gratitude to our indigenous culture. We are acting on this through Elevate Her Story 3, an effort to raise funds for the National Indigenous Women's Resource Center. From Deepavali to Gita Jayanti, the day Sri Krishna taught Bhagavad Gita, which this year is on Saturday, December 3rd. Tomorrow, we will complete half of our effort. Tomorrow will be day 20. And as of right now, our community has offered $15,537 towards our effort. Our poster says 25,000, but I'm greedy like Kubera. So I would like for this to be 27,000. What I'm sharing with you is particularly relevant to those who haven't donated. This is a community. In our community, we all act together. And this I emphasize by sharing that Sri Krishna is Meru. What is Meru? Where the Devas live on top and the Himalayas are on the bottom. It means to think big and then to act on that. I'd shared in our Practices to Perfection class yesterday. We have hundreds in that class. Just give $1. For us, just give $4, 1 cent per verse of Bhagavad Gita. Expressing gratitude is critical to one nurturing peace. So as much as I'm saying this in terms of doing this for our indigenous women and children, I'm sharing this for you to do for you. Nobody becomes more small-hearted by expressing gratitude. Prince Arjuna wants to see God. He wants to see God in the same way that a child feels that if their parent is not around, that their parent is not thinking about them as much. Shishyas are like this too, disciples, where they feel only when they're in the presence of their Sadguru are they inspired, do they feel cared, not understanding and appreciating that that Sadguru is large-headed, large-hearted, is always thinking about them, is always aspiring for them. And so what Sri Krishna is doing is he's directing Prince Arjuna's attention to the great within a subset of that which is great, he's highlighting the greatest. And the implied message when he shares aham, asmi, etc., that I am the greatest, he is not the greatest of that subset because the greatest of that subset is still limited. Meru is still measured. Shri Krishna is beyond this. But that's too challenging for us to understand and tune into. So he's taking us to the greatest and sharing, reflect on this. In the last verse, he shared, he is Brihaspati. Brihaspati is the guide of the semi-gods. Personalizing this, for almost 15 years, the focus of my efforts have been on those who are young. Our high school students, our college students, those who are recently in professions, relations, and so on. And I've consistently shared with those who are young, you don't need more ability. Most who I teach have more of an ability than I do in terms of academics or the professions. But what they do need is direction. I may lack ability, but Vivek doesn't lack direction. And if I can share this in a different way, it's to stop investing in IQ. Everyone is busy, which means you have to prioritize, invest in SQ. Otherwise, we will have lots of power, but no peace. Aren't the majority of countries like that? Lots of power, no peace. We need a Brihaspati, a guide. He shares, he is Skanda. Skanda is the general of the armies of the semi-gods. He has many names. Other names are Kartikeya, Guha, and so on. What's special about this is today in America, we're celebrating Veterans Day. And how lovely that we're reviewing the armies of the semi-gods. And he shares, I am the ocean. When I spoke to the Kerala community on Sunday, I shared with them that to relate to Bhagavad Gita, you have to know 3 SDs. The first SD, Sanatana Dharma. In English, infinite nature. That's like a vision. Then you come down to the mission, which is self-development. Practicing yoga is self-development, which aligns one with infinite nature. And the third SD, this is like the action statement, is study and discipline. One is not born into Sanatana Dharma. You have to know Sanatana Dharma and follow it to be involved in Sanatana Dharma. Agreed? I can be legally married to someone, but if I don't know them, if I don't love them, then is that a marriage? It is on paper, but nothing more than that. And why I'm highlighting this is all of you, those who do study Sanatana Dharma, Srimad Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, has such reverence for the environment. The sun, fire, ocean. Next is coming the Himalaya. If you study this, you can't help but follow this, which means every one of us would naturally be an environmental advocate. Conferences in Egypt are not needed then, because everyone's lifestyle is oriented towards environmentalism. That I feel the ocean is Sri Krishna. We continue to one of the best verses amongst these 18. I've referenced this in courses and workshops many times. Here is your factual reference. Verse 25. Maharshinam Bhrigur Aham Giramasmekam Aksharam Yajnanam Japa Yajnosmi Stavaranam Himalayaha. I have too much to share about this, so I'll be brief today. I'll review on Monday. Maharshinam, amongst the Maharishis, the great seers, Aham, Shri Krishna is Bhrigu, Rishi Bhrigu. There's a powerful story relating to this. I'll just take it to the end. On Monday, I'll give you more of the story. Rishi Bhrigu goes to Bhagavan Narayana, who's resting with Bhagavati Lakshmi, and kicks him right in the chest. And Bhagavan Narayana feels so bad that Rishi Bhrigu's feet are soft and his chest is hard. He takes no offense to Rishi Bhrigu's actions and says, "You have softened my chest. You have made me more large-hearted. So now I will always wear your footprint as the Shrivatsa. On my chest, there will be the symbol of Shri. Shri is you, as in Rishi Bhrigu, who is virtuous." The fuller narration to this I'll share later. Giram asmi ekam aksharam, which means amongst words. I'm checking in with all of you. Can you hear me and see me? Yes, good. Amongst words, I am the one syllabled. What is the one syllabled? Om. Too much to share about this, but I'll tell you what Pujya Swami Tejomayananda shared about this. Om, A, symbolizes our waking state. U is our dream state. And M is our sleep state. So everything we do in the waking, dream, and sleep should be directed to Him, directed to what Om indicates. Om is the greatest, but beyond Om is Shri Krishna. And if I can make this more relatable, Om is a sound symbol. What is the purpose of sounds? To be silent. So that which helps us to be most silent is Om. Don't you feel that when we chant Om? That it's time to forget about that which is secular, focus on being silent. Silence the ego. Relatedly, Yajnanam, amongst all dedication, sacrifices, Asmi Japa Yajna. I am Japa. What we have been encouraging in this community for years in comprehensive ways, here Shri Krishna is openly sharing. Amongst all practices, I am Japa, meaningful repetition. What Pujya Swami Tejomayananda shared about this. The greatest has to be the most available. The most available naturally means the most universal. Now, if we think of japa, isn't it available to all? The only barrier to entry is oneself, correct? Does japa have to be in Sanskrit? Does a mantra have to be given by someone else? In our silence retreats, what's our mantra? I am joy. That's so powerful. And what's special about this is today in Canada, we celebrate Remembrance Day. Japa is a catalyst to remembering the divine. And the etymology of this word, because it's important to know, is Janmana Pati. Janmana Pati iti japa. Pati means that which protects. Janmana, from being born. Anyone who doesn't want to be born again because there's too much selfishness, too much conflict. This is your key to not being born again, to just stay with him. Finally, stavaranam, amongst that which doesn't move. Stavara, that which is solid. Himalaya. Say it back to me like that. Himalaya. That's how you pronounce it, okay? It's not Himalaya. It's Himalaya. The meaning of this word is Hima, which means snow. And Alaya means the abode of snow. The Himalayas are so high, so there's so much snow and ice. I believe Led Zeppelin sings about that too. I come from the land of ice and snow. Himalaya. What the Himalaya is an icon for is it protects. The Himalayas, and I know you're all thinking right now, but the Himalayas are moving. The tectonic plates are crashing between India and Asia and so on. It's what it symbolizes is protection. In Bharat, in India, doesn't the Himalayas provide that protection for the country, for the people? And for us, we can be like the Himalaya, like a mountain. This is shared in Bhagavatam. That is much negativity that comes at you, particularly for your efforts towards self-development. Endure them. Like rain thrashes a mountain, but that mountain is unmoved. When people criticize you, when people ridicule you for waking up early and being large-hearted and trying to be patient and so on, you endure. More when we continue from inspiration to application. Your application was to remember our prayer to our Universal Mother. What's so powerful about this prayer is that we're asking for forgiveness in advance. If you're asking for forgiveness in advance, that means you're not forgetting her. Often we don't ask for forgiveness because we've forgotten that person and what we've done. I ask all of you for forgiveness for so many mistakes I made. Yesterday I made a mistake pronouncing Schmiegel when the actual term is Smeagol. Too much Sanskrit in my brain. I was thinking Sha instead of Sa. Here's your application for this morning. This weekend, I want you to come up with your own, this subset of great, and amongst the great, this is the greatest. Okay? You come up with your own. Let's see how our training is going. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Be safe, be sound, be serene, be joy.